Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Antisocial Commentary episode number 20. Today we'll be watching this DVD, Burn After Reading. Hell yeah. And I got to start with tradition. Here we go. Antisocial Commentary episode number 20, Burn After Reading. Action! Yeah. Little bit of tradition there. So, for this movie, let's just hop right into it, shall we? All right, we shall. Right now, the timer is at 0:00:00. The movie we're watching is 1 hour 35 minutes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. All right. So this timer is about like 1 second ahead of the movie. But it'll do. If you push play around the same time, we're seeing the exact same, what you call it there? What company is this? Working Title Productions logo that we just saw here. And there we have the United States. If you look up near the top there, you can see me in Manitoba doing this podcast. No, but yeah, it's a really nice shot, like making a joke within the headlines, like within the title credits of the movie, like this is the whole world, right? And there's something really funny about that, I think. And overall, this is just a really brilliant, underrated, dark comedy about middle age and having a midlife crisis and stuff like that, and just that combination of just excellent characters. It's hard to give a credit to who is the actual star of this movie, but we'll say John Malkovich was probably the star number one, and then after that you got Frances McDormand, fucking George Clooney, Brad Pitt. Like, it's just amazing. But here we go. Let's go put the subtitles on. Now, I got a couple notes on, actors' names and stuff like that. That the dude that is talking to John Malkovich is David Resch. Now, I believe the older you are, the more you can appreciate this movie. So if you're my kids and you're watching this movie with me later on in life, I feel like you might not get it until you're in your 30s. I love this introduction scene here with John Malkovich getting shit canned. And honestly, there's always some sort of subtle nod to how the character is going to be throughout the movie. At the beginning of a Coen brothers movie. And I love that part. It does not feel good getting fired. I have been fired once or twice in my life just for, like working a job and then like not showing up or something like that. And one of my fears is that because I'm so outspoken, once in a while that'll cross wires with me at work, and I'll tell it how it is at work or something. And that one of my fears is that I'll get fired for just telling it how it is or whatever. So so I always try to keep a backup job there. If I ever lose this driving job, I can go work construction. I'm still young enough to do that. But back to this movie here. I just love the way that the way Coen brothers capture relationships so like pure and raw. Like this is a middle-aged couple that has been together. They've been around the block a couple of times. Now, the character George Clooney is playing, like, he knows that he's screwing around on this guy's wife, and there's just something with that cattiness between Malkovich and Clooney in this movie. It's so good. I love that interracial couple trying to break the tension between everybody. And in this introduction, you instantly see that George, his character there, like the way he talks over his wife. In fact, his wife is played by Elizabeth Marvel, and she plays Sandy Farfer. And she explained that George's character is a cold, stuck-up person. There it is, yeah. There it is. And then right here you have the very talented Tilda Swinton. She is a really good actress, to say the least, right? This role of hers, I'm trying to sound polite here while I say that, though, like it suits her ability to act cold. Like I'm certain the real Tilda's a wonderful person. Yes, she agrees. But like her character is particularly cold. Like the way Malkovich is trying to be like, I'm switching careers, I got a plan, this is going to work out for me. And then Tilda's character laughs at Osborne's face. And then this part here, I had to look it up because he looked familiar. I had to look it up. The father is played by Harve Presnell. I thought it looked like Alan Arkin or somebody cool like that. Rest in peace, Alan Arkin. I brought him up last time. But I thought it looked like Alan Arkin or somebody like that, so I had to look it up. But what I love about this scene is the father-son issues between Malkovich and his father. Like, he's acting like he quit his job, and that's funny. I'd like, because that's something relatable that a son would tell their father. Like, oh, I gave up the the welding game or whatever. And then, like I'm deciding to, write my own children's book or something like that. You know what I mean? Like whatever you got to tell your father to, kind of let him know that you're okay, but at the same time to keep that appearance, it's a neat little scene. It's such a quick scene, but I find that I like that scene where he lies to his father. And this lawyer here, that is J.R. Horn. I hate how schemy all lawyers are, but he plays it to a T. And right now, just that schemy thing, right? The lawyer saying for her to spy on her husband, the spy. And the way he forgot that turtle analogy, that makes me believe that this character has experienced this kind of divorce thing again and again and again. And he kind of forgot his own speech, and I like that. I really like the way they wrote this movie. That's why this is the first Coen brothers movie we're doing, and there are so many to pick. My favorite Coen brothers movies: The Big Lebowski. Hail Caesar's awesome. There's Clooney called the intolerable cruelty, Burn After Reading, and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? The Idiot trilogies, and those are all Coen brothers movies, which are just hilarious. But yeah, No Country for Old Men and The Big Lebowski gotta be up here, dude. Like for me, like greatest movies of all time. Those two are like in my top 20 greatest movies of all time. I love that scene right there where it's like, it's almost like the writers of the story are trying to tell the character you're being cheated on. It's something cool like that. And that use of Richard Karn from Home Improvement, on Family Feud there, like as a Home Improvement fan, fan of Richard Karn there, I enjoy that. And the way he's measuring his alcohol, that means that he's like a little bit subconscious for the reason for him getting fired and stuff like that. Like just a little cause and effect that they do very well. Now, that is a joke that George Clooney does in this movie a couple of times, and we'll point it out each time. That was the first time he said I should get in a run after sex. And there's something about Clooney's character, like the way what am I trying to say here? Like, it just seems like everybody in this movie is trying to recapture their youth in a way. And like the way that Clooney does it, it's like his womanizing. And I appreciate how it's written in a way where each of these people are going through a midlife crisis, and the world goes on. Like, you got Tilda Swinton. She has true love right in front of her, even though maybe John Malkovich to her became, women get sick of guys' shit. Like, so obviously her character got sick of Osborne Cox's bullshit, like the way that Osborne is impatient and overly direct, and just all of those little things that she got sick of, and now she wants this divorce. So like her midlife crisis is trying to get out of the marriage. John Malkovich's midlife crisis is being canned for his alcoholism and stuff like that. So it's just really cool. And now we enter Frances McDormand. Here we go. Before we talk about Frances, that guy right there is Jeffrey DeMunn. He was in Shawshank Redemption, my first episode of Antisocial Commentary. He played the lawyer at the beginning. And he's so good as Dale in The Walking Dead and in The Mist. He's a really good actor. Awesome. Phenomenal. Love Jeffrey DeMunn's work, especially in The Green Mile and stuff like that. We thought he was doped up. Yeah. Jeffrey DeMunn's awesome. One of the things I love about the Coen brothers' writing is that side characters almost stand out more than the main characters. Like in this case. In this case, Jeffrey DeMunn playing the plastic surgeon, he does it so well, where he's keeping professionalism and still being exercise will tone out the thighs, and mixed with that and also wanting her business at the same time. So it's there's a whole lot of elements going on with these side characters that I really dig about the way the Coen brothers write. And I love the sweetness that Frances McDormand brings to the table in this entire movie. Immediately we're thrust into Frances McDormand's world here, where her character is just right off the bat vain, but at the same time in denial about her age. I had to write this guy's name down. He does such a good job in this movie. His name is R.J. Connor. Something snapped in my ass. That's my favorite line in the movie. And cool thing about R.J. Connor is that he has so many uncredited roles, in Imagine That or Meet Dave and Sex and the City, and What Happened in Vegas. He has a bunch of uncredited characters, but that character right there, dude, so funny. And again, with the theme of aging, and what I like about that, there's something snapped in my ass is that it kind of shows that Brad Pitt's character pushes people further than their limitations to a certain extent throughout his purposes in the storyline of the movie. And at the same time, the way he helps her pick a guy on the dating website, we'll come back to that a little bit later. Just remember that Brad Pitt helped pick out the guy that she dates later. But yeah, that like Brad Pitt's comedy in Burn After Reading, I thought it, like, I think of it as his funniest role. And I've seen Snatch, like I've seen 12 Monkeys, I've seen Fight Club, they have that dark comedy kind of thing to it, but Burn After Reading, Brad Pitt is like the funniest. And yeah, that picture's creepy because if I go like this, I might be predicting my own death. Whoa. Like what's that movie? The Omen, and that priest there. That dude who's like, shoot her. Is that the old one or the new one? I can't remember. I think the old one had the David Warner, I think his name is, or whatever. It was like Pepperoni Heaven in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 2. Then the new one had that dude from Jurassic Park, shoot her. And The Omen, so good. But yeah, back to this movie here. The way that she demands to speak to the supervisor, but then hangs up the phone. Like, there's such a passive sweetness. Like, the part that makes Frances McDormand's character so sweet in this movie is her passiveness. And you kind of feel sorry for her desperation. And it's one of those things. So like, there's that guy that Brad Pitt told her to pick, and Brad Pitt's character there. I just want to point out, like, it seems like he kind of picks losers and presumes, that this guy's got to be a winner. It's just like the way he kind of picks losers. Now this dude here, I can't remember his name, but I know he's Gavin from Friends. I have his name written down right here. Dermot Mulroney. Dermot Mulroney. But yeah, he played Gavin from Friends and a couple of other good roles. He's one of those like, oh, it's that guy. I like Gavin from Friends there. Dermot Mulroney. Very cool guy. But yeah, you see here that Brad Pitt telling her to pick that guy wasn't exactly the best choice, but the level of confidence Brad Pitt's character has, there's just something comical to think that the way he's doing things, like that overconfidence. Just everybody in this movie is so in it for themselves and so ego driven. It's just like there's something powerful to it. I think the power is in this world, our lives that seem big to us and what's happening to us in this world. I think the power of this movie is like, like these lives extremely matter to themselves, but the world goes on kind of thing. And I think showing the entire world at the beginning, and even like, I'm assuming you've seen this, so at the end of the movie they show the entire world again. How it's just like such a random, minuscule set of circumstances that doesn't really affect the entirety of the world. So it's like the Coen brothers have this way of taking a nothing story, like Seinfeld, for example, right? Just the way Seinfeld is like a TV show about nothing. The Coen brothers have this really, really strong ability to take nothing and then make it into a story. Like in The Big Lebowski, the whole thing's about a rug. In this movie, the whole thing's kind of about a miscommunication. I'll explain what ties everything in as we go here, but back to the movie. So, like, everybody in this story is just looking for a way to give their lives a little bit of spice, you know? Like, this woman seems to feel unloved at home, and the monotony of marriage driving her into Clooney's arms just to try to get that little bit of spark. And then you have Clooney, who's kind of going through a tough marriage as well, womanizing, and that's part of his midlife crisis. So, like, it's just a combination of midlife crises. It's that combination that makes me love and appreciate this story that much more. The whole time, Frances McDormand chases her vain desires. And there he goes, being overly presumptuous and assuming importance on another loser, which just so happens to be Malkovich's character. Like, Malkovich is playing something of they're all kind of like losers in this movie. Another thing that I enjoy because, hey, who's the master of the losers? This guy. But no, like, the way he thinks that this information is like him picking a winner. Again, it's just another choice of Brad Pitt's character picking a loser and having the assumption that it's going to take them places. And then the sweetest guy in this entire fucking movie is Mr. Richard Jenkins, like the gym boss there. And let's do a quick shout out to that guy. I wrote his name down. That is Raul Aranis. Yeah, Raul Aranis. And let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. We got some notes about the movie here. Burn After Reading, released September 12th, 2008. The budget was about $37 million. And, just an all-star cast is going to eat most of that up. And then after that, you have its worldwide earnings are currently at $163.7 million, which is pretty impressive, but it is a Coen Brothers movie, and that name alone will get a lot of people to show up in the theater, at least back then in 2008, right? Let's see what else. See some Ethan and Joel quotes. It's about old people in middle age, all going through a midlife crisis. Yeah, and cool thing about the editor in this movie, The editor in this movie is Roderick Jaynes. But Roderick Jaynes is a pseudonym that the Coen brothers use to play the editor, right? And what else do I have? Oh, I just want to do a quick shout out to Fargo. You know, obviously Fargo, like Frances McDormand crushed it in Fargo, dude. Like, I think that's Frances's best acting, and we're definitely gonna have to do an episode of Fargo. But also, we did an episode of Almost Famous, and she is so fucking good in Almost Famous. But shout out to a movie that Joel Coen directed alone that I love. I hold it dear. One of my favorites is The Tragedy of Macbeth, starring Denzel Washington, and Frances McDormand has a role in there as well. And Denzel Washington's Macbeth is up here, but like I love Denzel Washington. He's fucking awesome, and Joel Coen's awesome. But special shout out to Patrick Stewart, who I believe plays the best Macbeth of all time on there's this PBS series of classical plays and stuff like that, and I think it's like CBS Masterpieces or something like that. If you check it out on Amazon and search it in, you'll see like you can get a free trial to PBS, and from that PBS thing, you can watch Patrick Stewart do his thing there as Macbeth. there's the second time that after having sex, George Clooney decides he's going to get a run in. And I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start doing when I, after or whatever, I'm going to start having, like after I have sex, I'm going to go for a run. I think I'm going to start doing that. And if my kids are watching this with me, why are you watching this with me? Wait until you're like in your 30s and you'll understand this movie a bit later. But yeah, ignore what Daddy said about that taking a run after whatever. And yeah, let's get back into the movie here. But yeah, that's all the notes from that one right there. Oh yeah. The costume designer, Mary Zoffres, said that the whole thing for Frances McDormand is that haircut. That like makes her character. I agree. And now that very tacky, like skunky streak that that Brad Pitt has in this movie. Apparently, he was working on a commercial. I don't know which one. I'm sure you'll be able to find it if you were to go search out Brad Pitt commercials or something, and you could see it from the streak maybe. But like apparently he was working on a commercial, and then after the commercial, he had like a meeting or something like that with Mary Zoffres, the costume designer, and she was like, that's it right there, that streak, that's perfect for the character. And it does translate as like hilarity, like just that cheesy little tacky streak. Like it just makes Pitt that much more funnier and like douchier. Like the character is who I'm calling douchier, right? Like Pitt's a great actor, but his character is so douchey. It's so funny. And this right here. This is like part of his midlife crisis. The way he's trying to make something out of nothing, like just this disc with memoirs of his life or whatever. And there's just so much going on in this movie. This movie about it's almost about nothing, right? But like the way Seinfeld is a show about nothing, but there's so much going on in the plot that the plot thickens, but at the same time it's so consistent based on like the unimportance everything is, but at the same time the importance given to everything from the characters is what I'm trying to say. Like there's nothing important about his memoirs to a certain degree. Even Tilda Swinton's character is like, you're going to write memoirs? How are you going to make money from that? one of the things that makes Brad Pitt's character so funny to me is that, you know, like he plays Achilles, you know, he plays a confident dude in Fight Club, and it's always like that cool tough guy. And in this movie, his character is consistently overwhelmed. This is sorry. Was he Canadian? And the way he decides to drink that, like it looks like, you know, he's drinking it to comfort his emotions, where like Malkovich yelled at him or whatever. It just seems like he's you know, giving himself some comfort by doing that. And the way they give more importance to it after talking to him because he's older. Like their own cause makes their own, like cause and effect, like it just makes it, takes them down this path. Vanity right there. I love Frances's vanity, like her character's vanity in this movie, because it floats so well with her passive sweetness. That's a nice house. I always wanted a brick house. Like just to hire like a bunch of guys I know who are professional bricklayers or something and get them to do that. Brick by brick. It's always been a dream of mine to own a brick house. Build it with my bare hands, you know, with professionals. And I really like how they give George the building tension of paranoia. Like each storyline in here has a tension that builds from each vain desire of each character, like that selfishness of each character. Pay attention right here. Boom, baby. Hard Bodies Fitness Center right there, connecting all the stories together beautifully. I had to look up this lady's name somewhere on this paper. Judy Frank. And the reason that schemy fucking lawyer, man, he could have said that before he told her to spy on her husband, right? Gave her the point of no return speech after the spying was done and all that stuff. That son of a bitch. But yeah, back to the he's a good actor, J.R. Horn. You know, nothing against him. His character is a schemy prick, though. Judy Frank as the lawyer's assistant. Reason why I found that was so important was because, that is a main it's the main drive for the story. The main drive for the story is the assistant there, Judy Frank, the lawyer assistant, like her carelessly dropping the disc that Tilda Swinton, you know, her character got against John Malkovich's character, for that to be left frivolous, you know, just for that to be left randomly at the gym. That's why the story. So it's just that one character in the Coen brothers universe, that lawyer assistant. If it wasn't for her, none of that Frances McDormand and Brad Pitt, they wouldn't be involved in the story. I just love the way they bring that together. And they called it a Washington story, right? Like, these are people in like the neighborhood of Georgetown, for example. And cool thing about Georgetown, man, Francis is hot for an old chick. Sorry about that, I was checking her out. But cool thing about Georgetown is that Georgetown was established in about 1771, and then the USA wasn't like founded until like 1776, I think it was, right? So it's like, it's cool that, you know, Georgetown, Washington, or whatever, like, that was around before these United States of America. I'm in Canada, but huge fan of the States because I'm a huge fan of movies. So if the movies have taught me anything, it's that when the aliens invade, it's either going to be New York or California. That right there, I like that scene because like Richard Jenkins and Brad Pitt in the background, they're like, they have worked together a couple times, right? Like, and my favorite time when they worked together was the movie Killing Them Softly. Like, it's not much difference here in regards to how they support each other when they're acting. But like in Killing Them Softly, Brad Pitt's the lead, and then Richard Jenkins is like a supporting actor there. Like, and they do such a good job in Killing Them Softly. To me, that's the movie that should have won Movie of the Year that year. But, you know, what do I know? I'm just a fan. But yeah, it's just great to see Richard Jenkins and Brad Pitt working together. And that look again, just a guy who's like not of that world at all. that genius that it's Brad Pitt playing a character who is playing a character. You know what I mean? Like his character is playing like an espionage spy type. And even though people would call this a spy movie, I do love what John Malkovich said, where it's like, it's, you know, his character is an analyst. It's not that he's a spy. And, you know, it's not really a spy movie. It just like incorporates that part of the world where like normal people think there's this huge spy world or whatever. There's some sort of political jab at intelligence agencies and stuff like that. It works on so many levels. His pouty little face after getting just that little just that little frowny face he makes. And you see France's vanity taking over. Where's the money? With like a Kurtwood Smith RoboCop kind of, where's the money? I don't know. You burned the fucking money. But yeah, one thing I do wonder though, like they call John Malkovich an alcoholic, like his character in the beginning, in the first scene, an alcoholic. So like, how many of these scenes has he already had something to drink? And I heard Malkovich say something about like, oh yeah, he's always drinking and he's always yelling, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But like, it kind of makes me think that maybe Osborne Cox, played by John Malkovich, was drunk there when he gave Brad Pitt the old punch to the nose there. Even that's funny. He's like, you know, covering one nostril and then the other nostril starts bleeding. Like that, even that's funny, dude. Now that fellow right there, I have his name written down over here. That's Olek Krupa. I'll try to remember that from now on, because like he's one of those faces. And I really did love his work growing up. Like I was at the right age to find Home Alone 3 a good movie. So I thought that he played a pretty good villain in Home Alone 3, right? But also, he was really good in like Behind Enemy Lines, and I can't remember what movie it is. I think it's The Italian Job, where like Mark Wahlberg talks to this like big chubby Mexican cartel type or whatever, and that cartel type is like, don't fuck with motherfucking Ukrainians or something like that, is what he says in The Italian Job, and he's referring to Olek Krupa, his character in The Italian Job. So I do like a couple of roles by Olek Krupa. Respect. Putin in the back there. It's 2026 right now. Putin's still in power up in Russia there. And yeah, it was just, you know, if this podcast ever takes off, but I do it for me or whatever, if this podcast ever takes off, I do wonder after Putin's gone, who will Russia go towards? I hope it's, I don't want to get political, but I hope that whoever fills the shoes later, somebody we all get along with. Jenkins is such a good actor, man. He's like one of my favorites. I watched every season of 6 Feet Under, starring Michael C. Hall and Richard Jenkins and Francis Conroy. And in 6 Feet Under, he's so good, Richard Jenkins. He's been in a couple of movies that I podcasted, like Step Brothers, when he plays the dad, so good. Now, notice the contradiction that Tilda Swinton's character brings to the table. Like there's a certain hypocritical kind of approach to her character. She comes off like she's going to be filled with manners and like kind of like one of those people. But she seems more like somebody who pushes manners and tells people to act a certain way, but she doesn't do it herself, like here. Like when you're in a restaurant and you're sitting next to somebody and you hear, is there blood in their stool? And you look down at like a, like a Salisbury steak, but instead you don't have gravy, you have a little bit of ketchup on it or something. You know what I mean? Like it was rude of her with no manners to say that in the middle of a fancy restaurant like that. So there's something where it's like she conveys that like do as I say, not what I do kind of hypocritic attitude. And Tilda Swinton plays it brilliantly. She does that a lot. She's a really great actress. I loved her as Constantine's, bad angel. She's a bad angel in Constantine there. I apologize if spoiler alert. Sorry. But Tilda Swinton plays a really cool angel in that movie. And then in the movie, we need to talk about Kevin. She delivers. That's all I'm going to say about we need to talk about Kevin. If you're looking for a dark drama, we need to talk about Kevin is a pretty dark drama, kind of unsettling. Go check it out if you're looking for a dark drama. But I did say drama. She's a very good dramatic actress. Obviously, I mean, she's in a movie with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. And my hero, Frances McDormand. Now this right there, like the way they did this scene, they set it up like it's going to be something serious, and then it's something like sex toys are serious, but that sex toy thing though, that like joke, that it just feels like a metaphor for how the whole movie is, where it's like they set up something serious, the entire world zooming into Washington, and then it's something like, oh, a misplaced disc from somebody who got fired from the CIA. It's like there's something so perfect about it, and I that's why I love this movie. 5 stars. I wrote that guy's name down. That is Brian O'Neill playing Hal, if I'm not mistaken. That's why I wanted to remember his name. The way he's like, ouch. This is one of those things where it's like a side character delivering a little bit of the twist of the knife into one of our lead characters. And Brian O'Neill played that very well. And right here, like, oh my God, is she ever cold? Right? To put all of his stuff out on the fucking staircase and change the lock. Not only that, it looks like she changed the lock into a lock that looked like the old lock. Because he tries the key, you know what I mean? Twisting the knife again. And that dorkiness there, referring back to Mary Zoffres, like that dorky shirt that Brad is wearing. Mary said, "It's a tough challenge to make these." I'm quoting her. I'm not saying it myself here. It's a tough challenge to make somebody as gorgeous as George Clooney and somebody as gorgeous as Brad Pitt look like idiots. And her costume designing really does that well, especially with that flame shirt with like the collars and stuff. Like even that tie was supposed to kind of look bad, like the tie that Brad Pitt is wearing right now in the car dancing. It's just the imagery of Clooney carrying like a sex wedge, like a pillow for sex. And then the way he keeps dancing again, like this is like Brad Pitt's funniest, I believe, so far. Out of all of the characters he ever, like right there, for example, he moved his bubble gum to the side of his mouth so that he could drink out of his drink and stuff like that. Like, then he moved it back. Like, even just subtle little things like that just make his approach to this character hilarious. And then right there, you have George Clooney going for a run again. That ongoing gag that, he goes for a run, every time after he has sex. So fucking good. And the Coen brothers, they wrote this part that Clooney played for him. And when George Clooney got the script or whatever, before he got the script, he was told that, "Oh, hey, George, we wrote this script with you in mind." He's like, "Oh, no, that got me worried." But yeah, let's see what we got here. George Clooney quotes here, "They told me they wrote a part for me. That worried me a lot." Another quote here by George Clooney. George Clooney on the Coen brothers and their vision. "They make you feel like you're doing things your way as they get you to do things their way," which is a really cool quote on the vision and the process of the vision that Joel and Ethan Coen have as directors and writers. Because like these brothers, like they're very well educated and they're very good writers, and like they have a vision before George Clooney goes, "Hey, what if I try it like this?" And it's just that quote is awesome. And another quote by Clooney here: "Every time I'm afraid I'm the biggest knucklehead, I see Brad and think I'll be all right." Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, George Clooney has his trilogy of idiots with the Coen brothers. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Intolerable Cruelty, and Burn After Reading. Yeah, man. Cool. What else do I got here for notes? Yeah, that's about it. Everything else is, let's watch the movie together. I have a couple names that I need to look out a little bit later or whatever, but that's about it. But yes, this movie will always have a special place in my heart. Like there's just subtle, very like, it's like the dark comedy, like the way they do it. Everything has like a subtle humor that you kind of have to look for. Like this is one of those movies that gets better when you watch it another time because you kind of see how everything adds up together and how everything is tied perfectly when it's written in such a way that it seems like everything is almost random, but it's such a unique writing style. I can talk the Coen brothers all day, dude. I can talk them all day, but they do this thing where it's like it looks like it's random and then it's not random, and then you discover it after you watch it that one scene that you thought was random is not. That's what I love about their work. There's a very good chance that room smells like sex because there's the what you call it, the sex pillow wedge is right there on the bed. Yeah, right there would have been his time to get out. But again, he's like not part of that world, and he's so overwhelmed that he's like frozen in the closet. Like there's such a thing here too. It's like, you know what I mean? Like the character Brad Pitt plays is in the closet. Like I mean, like there's like a subtle humorous kind of like barb there that I just noticed right now that he's in the he's in the closet. That's funny. That is funny, dude. That is funny. I don't know if it's on purpose, but like his character, like being in the closet while the character was in the closet the entire time. Like that's what it seems like to me. I'm just noticing it now. But like this the way. Oh man, was it Bill Martin? Brad Martin. That was Brad Martin, George Clooney's stunt double, who like fell down the stairs there. Really good job. One of George Clooney's long time stunt doubles, and did a really good stunt with that falling down the stairs thing. And the reason I'm laughing, the reason is, he just shot Brad Pitt right in the head, in between the eyes. Runs downstairs, even like right after we just saw it was a clean, dead fucking kill shot right between the eyes. Like after we see that, for him to be like grabbing a knife and like shaking, walking up to see if he's still alive or something. Just checking to see if he's still alive after shooting him in the head. Like, oh man. I love dark comedy. It is my favorite genre of movie. Because it's a bunch of characters that are in it for themselves. A bunch of anti-heroes, right? So there's this take on this movie that I heard about where it's like none of these characters are good characters, but none of them are like truly evil characters either. And that is, in essence, part of dark comedy. And like that anti-hero kind of thing. So it's good makeup right there. Good effects there. Some people, like, I think it was Joel Coen or Ethan Coen. I think it was Ethan Coen who said that. Sorry, I said Cohen instead of Coen, like Leonard Cohen. I just want to say Leonard Cohen. If you're listening for a song to listen to by Leonard Cohen, Everybody Knows is such good. Everybody knows, so good. But Ethan Coen said about this movie that it's like the Bourne Ultimatum or whatever without all of the gunshots and stuff, but you have a really solid gunshot to the head, a forehead of Brad Pitt right there. And the Coen brothers, I don't know if they're joking, but there's some hallways in the movie that are like, yeah, we're not allowed to tell you where we shot these scenes, which is like, like I could see them using a government building and then being sworn to secrecy, but you know, that's just one of those things where maybe they're just having fun with the people that watch behind the scenes. Now that right there is the man, J.K. Simmons. Sorry, the scene. I love their back and forth. There's a certain satire or farce that is the CIA agents in this movie. So every time there's agents like J.K. Simmons and this rash fella here, every time they're talking, it's always hilarious. But yeah, that J.K. Simmons obviously played J. Jonah Jameson flawlessly. But one of my favorite movies of all time, directed by I can't remember, Damien Chazelle or something like that. I can't it's one of my favorite movies. I can't remember the director right now, but the movie Whiplash, starring Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons. So good, so good. I hope they bring it back to theaters so that I could see that drum solo in the theater. I need to see it in the theater. I do. So Whiplash, starring Miles Teller, J.K. Simmons. If you love music, one of the best movies ever, dude. One of the best movies ever. And that right there, like even that little scene where Malkovich is exercising, it's almost like that midlife crisis trying to recapture your youth. You know, like everybody's trying to get a piece of their youth in this movie about aging. common theme, about the way life is. Sorry, opening my drink. This scene between Linda and her boss here, like, it's almost like a theme in life. A theme in life is like not recognizing what we have in front of us. Now that theme of life, of not seeing what you have in front of you, throughout the whole movie, Ted loves Linda. And throughout the whole movie, Linda doesn't see that Ted is right in front of her. And that's something that applies to life quite frequently. We often overlook our greatest loves. We often overlook our greatest friendships. And we don't really realize what we had until it's too late, kind of thing. And there's that theme about aging that works on so many levels that it actually applies to every character here in the movie. Yeah. And that Clooney's character feeling a little bit of guilt for capping Brad Pitt. Shaking. Starts taking his day out on her. There she has, again, no manners by referring to her buddies as like shithole buddies. And the stomping. Her reaction in her eyes, and it's just for the sex pillow. Those are pretty expensive, but it's like, yeah, just that little sex wedge pillow thing, like the character giving so much importance to that sex pillow and stuff like that. There's something funny, and George Clooney explained this as a bunch of dumb people doing dumb things and sex jokes. I think the reason George Clooney reminds me of my dad so much are the eyelashes. We both have those Clooney-esque eyebrows and eyelashes, you know. I'm not saying I look like George Clooney. Or am I? but yeah, man, watch out, ladies. Watch out for this guy. No, I'm sure. But when he goes into crazy eyes as he smashes into Stewart's car. Stunt doubles again. Good job. That gentleman right there. The legend. If you watch this a couple years from now, in like the year 2030, Kevin Sussman, by the time it's 2030, we'll be on season 3 or 4 maybe of Stuart fails to save the world. He's Stuart from The Big Bang Theory, and right now he's working on the pilot or the first season for a show called Stuart Fails to Save the World. And that level of pessimism that Stuart has in The Big Bang Theory, his character kind of shows that in this movie by saying, grow up, man, it happens to everybody, when he's talking to George Clooney about his divorce. And I love that part with George Clooney where where he was cheating with like a bunch of different women, and then he starts crying that his wife wants a divorce. I was just laughing at the host there, the way he stresses to pronounce the author's name, Farrar, with the silent P, played by Elizabeth Marvel here. Like, just the way that he does that while he's trying to be like, okay, that's enough airtime for this lady. It's just so funny. And then that whole time, she's cheating on him. Well, he's cheating on her. And it's just one of those things, man. Like, I've only ever experienced being cheated on, but I've seen I've seen a lot of others. I'm not going to say any names, not going to mention anybody, but I've seen like a lot of other people where they're stuck in dead-end relationships where they're cheating on somebody else, and that somebody else is cheating on them, and then everybody kind of just goes, that's just who they are. so it's just all of those realistic scenarios in here in this movie, like they're depicted as a dark comedic hyperbole, and like just that melting pot of like just adult situations. Like, it's just, I know, man, I'm trying to explain it here, but just the way they bring it all together, like all of the selfishness of each character, and like this, it's all realistic. That's what I'm trying to say. Everything the characters do to preserve themselves or to act with vanity or whatever, or the impatience that Osborne Cox has here. Like, he's just fed up with life. Like, it's all so relatable, and it captures human emotion. Yeah. What's the matter, you? Man, I said this in the knocker. The whole movie can be summed up with that little scene of George Clooney destroying his sex machine. But I said this before about John Malkovich. Like, he's the best. He's the best. Like, I said that before in Knock Around Guys. And I got to get a picture of John Malkovich. I do. And one day, like, I love this movie, even though it's one of those movies where it's like maybe like 3 stars or whatever out of 5. But I'm still going to call it a 5-star movie when I do it. But The Great Buck Howard by starring John Malkovich. I'm going to have to do a podcast on that. Just because Malkovich is just my hero, man. And same with that vampire movie's in. Why can't I remember the name of it right now? Like, say, Interview with the Vampire or something. No. Interview with the Vampire is a Brad Pitt movie, who was also in this movie. But What fucking vampire movie was that John Malkovich in, man? It was a really good movie. I saw it before. I thought it was like Willem Dafoe plays a vampire or something like that. I can't remember for the life of me. For the first time in this episode, I'm gonna have to pick up the phone and look at it. Look it up. Who plays? I mean, hang on. Which vampire movie was John Malkovich in? My friends would be so disappointed in me right now because like they would know. Shadow of the Vampire. That was a good one, man. It was a creepy ass vampire movie. I'm gonna have to do that one. I'm gonna have to do The Great Buck Howard. I'm gonna have to do Con Air. Oh, dude. Gonna have to do Of Mice and Men. John Malkovich is so good. There's something so nihilistic about asking his social security number. Something so comical about a pediatrician. The pediatrician treating the kid like an adult. Like, there's something so funny about that. This is another quick little jab at the, like making fun of little things in life like that. It's like that one scene in Friends where it's like, if you work with coffee all day, at the end of the day, you're like, if I see another cup of coffee, I'm going to go crazy. Then he applies that to being a doctor. It just seems like a part of Tilda Swinton's midlife crisis, and as a character in this movie, is that she's fed up with everybody. Yeah, I love her passiveness mixed with her like desperation. Like her entire motivation is like trying to claw back towards having a younger look. And it's like very vain of her. But at the same time, like, she's Frances McDormand, so you feel for her at the same time. Even though her drive is vanity, you still feel for the sweetness Frances McDormand brings. And there's another plaid shirt on Clooney there. What is it with the costume designers? And they always give Clooney plaid shirts, except for like Ocean's 11, a lot of solids. But in a movie like The Perfect Storm, when he plays a fisherman, right, he's always wearing that plaid fisherman stuff. And in this movie, wearing plaid again. every character has building tension. And to see Clooney's character, his building tension explode to this scene right here. Like his building tension is like paranoia, and then after he shoots Brad Pitt and all that, and like for that tension to explode on the only woman in the storyline that has treated him nicely, even though like he was fucking around on her or whatever. Like it just seems like Frances McDormand's character was treating George Clooney's character very nicely throughout the entire film. And there's just something about that building up of paranoia that makes him think that she's a spy and a bad person. Like, that's funny. That's funny, dude. That's awesome. Very rarely do some movies like grow finer with age like wine. But a movie like this that has like a subtle satirical jab towards intelligence agencies and just like normal people who think that there are forces that are in control and know what they're doing. But like you get thrust into John Malkovich's story where you immediately see that the CIA and all that stuff, like in this universe of the movie, they don't know what they're doing. They don't have control, and being called an intelligence agency, like they make fun of that in like just with subtle jabs throughout the entire movie, dude. And that's what I love about this movie. It really is like you can't say it's the Coen brothers' best work because that's nuts. If you watch No Country for Old Men, you say No Country is their best work. And it's like, yeah, what about Fargo? And if you watch Fargo, oh, Fargo's their best work. What about Burn After Reading? What about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It just, they're so fucking good. And again, tension. That tension in Malkovich's character's life. And he has booze in his hand. His whole problem being the alcoholic, that, you know, like booze in his hand, the tension building up just for like, oh my god, just for poor Richard Jenkins' character to fucking get caught up in the middle of that tension. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, I love that, but at the same time it's so brutal. There's a subtle nod to Fargo. I won't say what it is in case you didn't see Fargo yet. Go see Fargo. But I love that subtle nod to Fargo in that scene. watch the finale together. It's like a poetry or symphony or something, man. It's awesome. Oh man. Hell yeah, man. And then you zoom out to the entire world. Life goes on. Like there's something powerful about the way, like at the beginning of the movie, you see the whole world, and then you zoom into a little Washington story, and then at the end, zoom out. Oh yeah, the world goes on. There's something very powerful about that, and just the entire story it's so good. And like it's when I was younger, I couldn't appreciate it. I couldn't appreciate like how well put together this movie actually is. It's like they wrote the perfect script, and that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. But yeah, man, like even the music right now and the ending credits, right? Like it's like boom, 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 boom. Like that seriousness. There's just something so good about the way they present it as like a serious situation. And then it's just a bunch of fucking idiots doing a bunch of stupid shit the way George Clooney said it's dumb people doing dumb shit with sex jokes, right? Like, let's see if I forgot anything on these notes here. No, I think I pretty much got everything off the air there. Let's see. Everybody is selfish. Nobody has control. Nobody knows for sure. It's a very cynical kind of movie. Let's see. Yeah, I think I got everything. I got everything except for, no, I mentioned the memory issues of the lawyer. Like when he was trying to remember that turtle analogy, that it sounded like he gave that same speech to other clients hundreds of times before, stuff like that. Oh, the running after sex thing, like that's like one of my favorite bits in the movie. Well, yeah, better go for a run. Just had sex. Gotta go for a run. I'm going to start doing that in my real life. You know, every time I have sex, I'm going to go for a run. So I'm going to be running like 10 times a day. Okay. No, but this really is a good movie. Just, you know, shout out to Joel and Ethan Coen for just making just a phenomenal career of movies. Just phenomenal. Like, I've never been displeased with a Coen brothers movie before. You know what I mean? Like, if you were to pick a worst one, you can nitpick, but I'm not gonna. They're all pretty goddamn good. But that right there was episode 20, Antisocial Commentary. We watched Burn After Reading. If you watched it with me, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do. I do this for me. So, but if you did watch, I appreciate it and I thank you. And if you're my kids and you're watching this later on in the future, I love you. I love you. I hope you're older. You know, if you watched Burn After Reading with Daddy, It's kind of an adult situations kind of movie. If you're wondering what to do with your lives, take care of yourselves and try to save up, have some fun, Just live a good life. Daddy loves you. But yeah, okay, ladies and gentlemen, enough of that sentimental stuff there. That's the end of our podcast today. We have Burn After Reading 2009, Antisocial Commentary, episode number 20. Thank you for watching. Cheers, love, respect. Cut! Right there is Frances McDormand's birthday, June 23rd, 1957. Wherever she is in this world, I love you, Frances. Respect. Cheers.